Welcome back. Joining us now in studio is Senator Nathan Dahm of Broken Arrow. Senator, thank you for being with us this morning. You are the Senate author of House Bill 1749. You heard our conversation with Representative Newell just a moment ago. Let our viewers know where this measure is in the process in the state Senate.
So it's fully passed the House, went through the House committee, House floor, now it's been assigned over to the Senate. And just this past Monday, it actually passed the General Government Committee, of which I'm the chairman. And so now it has to go before the full Senate, all 40, well right now 47 members because we have one vacant seat, but before the full Senate to be voted on and then on to the governor from there.
And you chose to be the primary Senate author of the bill. Why do you care about this issue?
Well, it's something that I talked with Representative Newell. It was something I was looking at this past fall, found out that he had already started working on this, had some legislation prepared, so I contacted him and talked with him, and just philosophically, I don't think that it's something that we as a state should be doing. I don't care if people are part of organizations or unions or if they donate to charities or whatever, but I think that it should be more of the personal responsibility. It should be on the individual to do that versus the state doing it for them.
Let's unpack this a little bit and what you're talking about, your philosophy and whatnot. You have had an interesting journey to come to the legislature. You're in your first term as a state
Correct.
senator, and to be taking on the biggest issue of session right now, that's unique. Tell us a little bit about your story and how you arrived at this position.
Well, my background is very unique. I actually grew up on the mission field. My parents are missionaries. They're still over in Romania. They've been over there for 20 years, but I grew up over there. And so I've seen the transition from communism to more socialism, so still a toned down version of communism, but also some free market things. I've seen how businesses can boom and expand when they don't have a lot of government interference, how people could start a little mom and pop shop and eventually, it could be a chain across the whole nation. But I've also seen the impact of inflation. That's what really got me involved in government when I first moved back to Broken Arrow, because it was right before the TARP bailout.
Right.
And Romania had such huge inflation when I was over there that it wiped out people's savings accounts, retirements accounts. It devastated the people themselves. The government was fine, some of the big industries were fine, but the people suffered the most. So that's what really got me involved with this. That's why I first ran for office, and that's what I'm trying to do, is make sure that the people are represented and protected here in state government.
Well, and you seem to be, just looking at your bills, this bill and other legislation, you're very focused on rights, Second Amendment rights, Fourth Amendment rights, this whole concept of not forcing taxpayers to subsidize political activity. What is it about that experience that made you hone in on that part of government?
Well, living over there, seeing not just in Romania, but throughout Europe and throughout the world through my different travels, I've seen that governments don't put an emphasis on the rights of individuals. It's kind of the collective, right? It's for the collective good. It's all these different things. And that's one thing I value, not just in our Constitution, but in our Declaration of Independence. They went back, the Founding Fathers, nailed it specifically, the nail on the head. They said that this is about individual rights. We all, as individuals, have God-given rights, among which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what everything has to go back to. We have to make sure that we're protecting individuals' rights, not trying to rule their lives. And that's what governments all over the world trying to do, not just communist governments, but sometimes people in the Oklahoma legislature trying to dictate other people's lives.
This topic comes up quite a bit with respect to the Second Amendment. About every year at the state legislature, we're discussing this a little bit. Why don't you tell our viewers about your bill that you're carrying this year and how you came to that topic?
Well, I've had several bills in the 3 years that I've been up there. This year I do have an open carry without permitless open carry, which 30-something other states already have. The argument that we hear a lot of times is, we're going to go back to the Wild West. There's going to be blood in the streets, but even if you look at the Wild West, it wasn't that bloody. We have a Hollywoodized version of what the Wild West was. So that's what people have, that mentality. And people are saying, well, if we expand our gun rights here in the state, that businesses won't move to the state. But like I said, there's 30-something other states that already have that. It's not like all those businesses are leaving those states and flocking to Oklahoma because we don't have permitless open carry or constitutional carry, which 5 states have. So I'm just trying to move us forward to that. I believe that the Texas Senate either is still looking at or just passed some open carry legislation just this week. So that's the trend. That's the direction that people are going. And that's one reason that America is so free, is because we do have that right to self-defense, which is guaranteed in the Second Amendment.
Well, and you also have some legislation that is looking a little skeptically at the federal government, the NSA, and their involvement in Oklahoma. And I know that has produced some great dialogues. Tell folks what that's all about.
I've had several bills, especially on the Fourth Amendment, dealing with the NSA, some of the spying, some of the protection things. And I've looked at the 10th Amendment Center. They have a lot of model legislation dealing with these things. Freedom from location surveillance, which right now the NSA is tracking not just emails and phone calls, but actually pinging cell phones and seeing where people are and being able to track them without a warrant. And the Fourth Amendment is very clear in that, not just protected in our effects, but in as individuals, we should be protected in all of our items, all of our effects. So I've been working towards that. A lot of people realize that I'm a strict federalist, and that I believe that the states created the federal government, not the other way around. We're not supposed to be subservient to them. They're supposed to be responsible for the things that nationally need to be taken care of, like military, uniform weights and measures. But outside of that, no, it needs to be handled locally. And I've lived overseas in Romania, and I've seen how governments can spy on individuals. In fact, in every apartment complex over in Romania, usually the ground floor, first floor apartment was the member of the Communist Party that was the spy for them, and they would keep track and keep tabs on every individual as they came and left. They would, they have a ledger, they would write it all down, and that was in every single apartment complex. And so they lived in this mentality of fear, which is the opposite of here in America, where you're innocent until proven guilty. You're not guilty until you're proven innocent, which is what the NSA is doing by spying on every American citizen.
So we have just about a minute left, and I wanted to ask about that because this Fourth Amendment issue has been referred to as one of the biggest threats in the past century and a half or so. Why specifically, for our viewers at home, why are people saying that about this issue?
Because this is what tyrannical governments have done throughout history. I mean, you just look at history, and that's what they've done. They've turned on their own people, and they've started looking at their own people as doing something wrong, as always doing something wrong, versus giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, in America, we're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, not the other way around. And right now, there's a presumption of guilt. Well, you're doing something wrong, and so we're going to track every one of your emails, every one of your phone calls, until we find what it is that you're doing wrong. They're just presuming that every American is breaking the law. And there's even a book out there, I forget if it's 3 felonies a day or 5 felonies a day, what the title is, but it talks about how every American citizen basically commits at least one felony every day because of so many laws on the books, because we're just presumed guilty of everything right now.
Well, Senator Dahm, I want to thank you for your time today, and good luck with House Bill 1749 coming up. Folks, we'll be right back with some final thoughts after this.